Hi, everyone. It's Marjorie Waldo with Culture Under Fire. And before this episode, I'd like to share with you that April Marshall and Dick Lowenthal, my guests, and who are two of the most incredible supporters of all things Arts Garage, but in particular programming and sponsorships, they asked me to give you a challenge. So if you're listening, I hope you'll consider making a donation to Arts Garage. No gift is too small, and every contribution makes a difference. Thanks to the generosity of April Marshall and Dick Lowenthal, all your donations will be matched dollar for dollar by these sponsors. If you're willing to donate, please visit www.artsgarage.org/match for impact. Thank you so much and enjoy the episode. Hi, everybody. It's Marjorie Waldo with Culture Under Fire, making a case for the arts. Today, we're talking about why sponsors say yes to the arts. I want to read you the introduction. What inspires someone to help make a performance, a season, or a cultural experience possible for everyone else? I'm going to speak with some arts supporters whose generosity helps bring bold programming to our stage at Arts Garage and meaningful experiences to our entire community. This conversation is looking beyond the gift itself to look at the values, relationships, and sense of purpose behind philanthropic support. Why do donors choose to invest in the arts right now? What makes a show, an organization, or a mission worth championing? Together, we're going to reflect on how private support helps create access, sustains ambition, and keeps cultural life visible and alive. So I'm super excited because I have two of Arts Garage's largest sponsors here with me today, Dick Lowenthal and April Marshall. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you.
No, we're glad to be here.
Glad to be here.
I'm glad you're both here, and I'm going to brag about you now. So let me give some of your bio, and you can interrupt me if I get something wrong. Or if we really need to add something, tell me that it's important and we need to stick it back in. So, April, I'm going to do your bio first. You live part-time in Louisville, Kentucky, and the rest of the time in Delray Beach. That's one of our other intersecting things because my family grew up in Huntington, West Virginia, close to where you are. I don't think it's too far away from
we're
you.
neighbors.
We're neighbors,
Yes.
yeah. You are the director for your Marshall Family Foundation, which is was started by your grandparents?
My grandfather, yes. And my grandmother, yes.
That's awesome. You discovered, I love this story. You discovered Arts Garage while visiting Delray. You happened to be walking by and saw it. So it was a really organic experience.
Yes.
Very cool. We piped the music outside. Was the music outside when you walked by?
That's very attractive.
Yes, yeah. You are a significant donor in Arts Garage. You're a member multiple times of our Band of Angels. The naming rights for our gallery are in your foundation's name, and you've sponsored multiple shows that Arts Garage otherwise wouldn't be able to afford to put on our stage. And we'll talk about some of the cool parts of curating with the sponsor and me when we go into it. Wonderful. The Marshall Family Foundation doesn't just support Arts Garage. You also support Assumption High School, Ronald McDonald House Charities, and St. Joseph's Children's Home, right?
Yes, there are many. And
plus others.
Yes.
There's another one in Delray, I think.
No, actually, we also sponsor public radio in Louisville, Kentucky.
Okay,
which is another important sponsorship.
Big one.
Yes.
Yeah, that's a big one.
Yes.
That's a big one. All right, Dick, it's your turn. Dick Lowenthal has lived in Florida for over 10 years now.
Right.
From Jersey, right?
Yep.
The Garden State.
Yes.
Were you on the Turnpike or were you actually in the garden?
Teaneck, New Jersey, about 5 miles from the George Washington Bridge.
Okay, so you were on the Turnpike. I lived in Princeton for a long time, and that was really where the Garden State, that kind of vibe is where the Garden State got its name. When people think of New Jersey, they think of where you're from.
Right.
You've been on our board of directors since 2014, and you were the chair for 2 years, 2024 and 2025. You have your bachelor's in music from the University of Michigan and a master's in trumpeting from Juilliard.
Yep.
You founded the jazz department at the Manhattan School of Music, and you founded the jazz studies program at the New Jersey City University. You were a conductor and a trumpeter performing with the likes of, he drops names all the time, the Glenn Miller Orchestra, Ella Fitzgerald, Tony Bennett, Wynton Marsalis, and Cher, of all people. That's pretty cool.
Yes.
So you've been around the world and have a few T-shirts.
Yeah. Oh, about 100.
Yes. It's a really interesting conversation, and you're both very different. And it is easy for me to see, but I want to share with everyone why you do what you do. Right. So what motivated you to become a philanthropist, to give back to the communities that you live in and work in? Either one of you.
Well, I think it's important for the community at large. I always think it's important for children and all ages, older, younger, to be part of the arts. It's an important part of our environment and us as humans. I think it's an important part of our being to be able to express that through the arts.
We just had one of your shows. We had two in the last couple of months. The
Yes.
most recent was ABBA Mania.
Very fun.
Very big band and incredible performers, like theatrically, plus incredible vocals and instrumentals.
Absolutely.
When we curated this, you decided you wanted a dance floor. What I can tell you is that I sat on the side watching, taking video and pictures, and could not stop smiling the entire time because it made everybody so happy.
It really was incredible, from the young to the old, from people on the, I met somebody, that is very different on the spectrum and just enjoyed the music, being able to dance. Saw people that had difficulties getting around, that were just standing up by the dance floor, maybe not pulling a lot of moves like some of us, but they were enjoying and moving and really enjoying the moment, enjoying the music, feeling that feeling, and really playing off the band and the band playing off of them. And they were very involved with everyone in the audience, which made it really super special. Yes, they were incredible.
It was
incredible.
really cool. And it was interesting. Like you talk about the diversity of the audience. It was pretty amazing. There were a couple of younger women there, I'm going to say in their late 20s, and they knew every word to every song and danced literally the entire concert, right?
Yes,
it was unbelievable.
It was so
And there
cool.
were some mom-son combos that were there, and
Very special.
a bunch of girlfriends. One of our board members, Elise Rubenstein, I gave out a few of our microphones,
yes.
the squishy microphones. And Elise and three of her girlfriends got on the dance floor with the squishy microphones and sang into their microphones while dancing on the dance floor. It was pretty spectacular.
It was. And everybody was dancing together. Even, the groups were mingling with everybody else. It was really special.
Yeah, and I really think there are different times in the world where we need that feeling.
Yes.
And I think right now is a good example because we're really divided. It doesn't matter which side of the divide you sit on. It's a hard spot to sit right now. And
Yes.
that took us away for a couple hours, right?
Yes, when we can all enjoy something together that everybody enjoys, it has nothing to do with what's going on in the world. We're just enjoying the moment together.
Yeah.
As humans
Really cool.
from all backgrounds. It's
Really
wonderful.
cool. Really cool. All right. So, Dick, why did you want to give back to the community you live in, to Arts Garage in particular?
Well, I saw what my life was like, and I wanted to give that back to other people from all ages, because I've taught from young, the lectures at kindergarten kids, third grade kids. My daughter teaches third grade, to the classes we have, the adult ed, where some of the people, my kids in the Arts Garage adult ed, my kids are 90, some of
That's
them.
wonderful.
Well, and you were a professor at two universities that launched jazz programs.
Right.
So what made you start? I mean, you do lots of things, right? You serve on our board and you teach classes and you do shows. But what made you want to be a sponsor, which is what we're really focused on today?
Well, again, to give back. And I have a lot of friends in the business. And the first one we did was John Pizzarelli. And we had a very, very big crowd. And he was great. And I want to give back, but have accessible artists that they will give in their performance. And so there were certain artists I wouldn't include, but I think the ones we've had, Bria Schoenberg will be great. We've had Christian McBride is coming in. And these are artists that are very accessible to an audience.
And by accessibility, let's talk about that for a second. So I think what you mean, and you can correct me if I'm wrong, by accessible, you mean that they're willing to sort of engage with and interact with the audience.
Right.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
The other thing your sponsorship does, both of you, is provide accessibility, because we could not have some of the names on our stage that we have through your philanthropy, because we couldn't afford it as we're a $2 million budget, right? So I negotiate fiercely for the performance fees for Arts Garage. And most of the shows that you too have sponsored, we could not have afforded otherwise. So you are providing accessibility to our community in a very grand way. It's a really cool thing.
Thank you.
Very grateful. And I mean it from the bottom of my heart. It makes me really happy to be able to say Pizzarelli was on my stage. Or it wasn't a sponsor show, but remember when Paquito de Rivera was there and Chucho came?
Oh.
That was epic and incredibly, I think, historical to see something like that. Both of these gentlemen are older, especially Chucho, and it was a really cool thing. So
I remember leaning over to you and saying, Marjorie, you're seeing history.
Yes.
When Chucho got out of the audience,
Yes.
walked up on the audience and
Yes.
sat in.
And he
with
was so
Paquito.
fragile when he walked up and had his grandson helping him.
Right.
But once he got at that piano, all of that went away, which is another thing that music does for people, I think. I think it just takes away all the negative. So I think we sort of covered the second question that I had given you, which is what about arts and culture makes you want to support? And you talked about giving access to the community. You talked about the feel-good feeling that you're giving people. Is there anything else that you would say is important for you each?
Well, you mentioned that people got up and danced, and I've seen the same thing with some of the music that we'll play, swing music. People will get up there a little older,
Right.
and they'll still get up and dance, to the music because it makes them feel good.
Right.
And speaking about music, it really makes people feel much better, and you forget everything, and it's just great.
All of the research from Americans for the Arts and many other organizations that support and focus on the value of arts and culture, to our communities, to the world, talk about the health benefits of being engaged in community-based arts. Without a doubt, we know with children that it increases their math and reading scores. We know with older people that it makes them feel less isolated, that it engages them, gives them physical activity. With any age group, it can lift you out of a hard time. It's a pretty powerful
Physically and emotionally.
tool. Yeah, in every way, it's pretty cool.
John sings one of his closing tunes is about New Jersey. And I just look at the audience and, I know where he's singing about. He does a whole song about going up and down the turnpike. And it was just great. I mean, the audience he got a standing ovation when he sang his song about New
Beaming
Jersey.
with pride, right?
Yes.
So, why Arts Garage? Because there are other amazing venues in Palm Beach County and in South Florida in general. What about Arts Garage moves you or makes you want to be part of our family? Because you are stuck, right? You're part of our family
Absolutely.
forever. So you've been knighted into the Arts Garage family and you can't ever leave. So what makes us special, April?
Well, I do really like that you all showcase upcoming artists in our gallery, in the Marshall Family Foundation gallery.
Those emerging
art gallery.
artists, the visual artists.
Yes,
yeah.
that they may not have that opportunity anywhere else. I think that's very important. And it's also people from all kinds of backgrounds, with all kinds of maybe diversity or challenges in their life. And it gives them an opportunity to showcase their art. And for us as, art lovers to see something that maybe we never would have seen or been attracted to a type of art that we wouldn't have been attracted to otherwise or exposed to. So I think exposure, education, and as much as you all do for the children in the community with the arts. And I just found it and like you said, when I walked by and I heard the music and I saw the people and everybody was enjoying themselves. And I think music just brings people together. And I really enjoy that.
Agreed. We've worked really hard on our customer service skills since I started in particular. And our team, if you look at our Google reviews or our Yelp reviews, almost always it includes the front of house team and our volunteers, so that we try to make you feel warm and fuzzy when you walk in the door, you know?
And that is truly the case. Everyone there is so involved and engaging to everyone and very accommodating, and just makes the night go smoothly.
That's really
It's very
cool.
nice when you
I'm
walk
glad.
in and see some familiar faces that are greeting you. So
I'm
it's
glad.
nice.
And I'll go along with that also, because a lot of times the audience can meet the musicians afterwards. And that becomes a whole nother story now, that they're meeting a John Pizzarelli or a Bria Skomberg or any of the other major artists we
And to
bring
be
in.
clear, that doesn't always happen. It completely depends upon each artist and whether they're willing to give time after the show, because they're pretty wiped out. But there are many of our artists who feel like we're a second home also.
Right.
Go back to why Arts Garage. How did you find Arts Garage?
I was commuting back and forth to New York teaching, and we saw something at the Arts Garage, and we came to see a show, and then we came back for some more shows. Then I met you. And,
Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. And your energy and bringing in all of this entertainment, so to speak, for all ages. We also have open mic, by the way, you know,
Right.
where kids can, younger players can perform and
It's
everything.
everybody. All ages come to those open mics. We thought they were going to be younger people, but they're all ages.
Right. But it was great. And I thought, well, gee, I'd like to get involved.
So after you came to a show and decided to get involved, what made you want to do that? Why did you want to get involved?
Well, I felt that I had the ability that I knew so many musicians that I would love for them to play at the Arts Garage. The audiences are great, a very varied audience most of the time. And I thought I could help bring performers in maybe that didn't know the Arts Garage, as a matter of fact, and have them perform, and our audiences are wonderful.
To be clear for the listeners, the board members do not program the stage. I program the stage. This is a perfect segue into the next thing I'm going to talk about, which wasn't on the question list I sent you. But I want to talk about how sponsoring is different than just being an audience member or being on the board. Because when you sponsor, you get more curatorial control over what is happening. So, for example, with what you're talking about, Dick, you propose several performers that you have seen, admire, respect, and would like to consider being a sponsor for those performances. And then I'm able to do the research and give you your options as a
Right.
sponsor, right? So how do you feel about that process? Do you like that process? Do you like being able to help me pick?
Oh, absolutely. We sat down in your office and over some water, and
It was probably wine.
well, I didn't want to say that, but and you gave me a roster of artists, and you said they're available, which is very important about the routing, that they're in roughly the area, or at least in Florida. And you would say, all right, do you want to sponsor this one or this one? You know, you pick
Right.
who you'd like to sponsor.
Right. And then I'm able to give the people who are interested in sponsoring, I'm able to give you a price range for each of the artists that you're interested in, so that you can pick and choose according to your interests or your desires. Right. And I think for you, it's really interesting when I talk to you, I about lose my mind, because you know them all. So we have to talk about all of them, because it's hard for you to pick. It's interesting. You've had such exposure through your career that it really brings something special to the table. It really does.
Oh, thank you.
But all right, so April, talk about our experience curating together.
Oh, it's been so fun. So I sort of go with the genre of music. So that's been super fun. And you and I just bounce things off. And you're just wonderful at getting in touch with the artist. You have such great connections and you make it happen. It's really fun to work with you. You're awesome.
It's really fun to have somebody give you this baby, this idea of a baby, and then try to make it happen.
Right.
From my side, that's really cool.
And then it was great because with Little Red Corvette, that was the first concert that we had with the dance floor, which last year I said, please, the concerts that I sponsor, I really want a dance floor. I feel like it engages the band feeds off of the audience. The audience is able to get up and move and dance. And it has just been incredible. And I know we've already talked about that, but that has been super fun to bring that change to the Arts Garage.
Right.
And I hope it's something that lasts for a long time.
I'm hoping that the people who are listening become interested in sponsoring, because I want you to be able to see from these two examples of all the different ways that you can impact what the show feels like when you sponsor that show. So you really get to help design it a little bit in a way that normally you're just choosing, am I going to buy a ticket to that show or not?
Right.
In this case, you kind of get to program, and it's fun.
I love your job.
If you don't do it for a living, it's really fun. I have to be mean all the time.
I've never seen you mean.
Well, don't be surprised to know, because it has happened. Dick, has it ever happened? Don't say it.
No.
Don't say it. Okay, so give me your absolute favorite experience, whether during a sponsorship, a show that you sponsored, or any other time. What's been your favorite experience at Arts Garage? Think for a second. You don't have to answer right away.
Well, I would say the night with Chucho and Paquito
Favorite moment of all time?
at the Arts Garage, I would say yes. That was really special evening.
It was not even a sponsored show. We just got really lucky. And we did that one in row seating, I think, to get as many people in the room as we
seating
could.
and
That was
packed.
a pretty incredible show. It was jam-packed. You couldn't walk.
Right.
I shouldn't say that. You could walk. There was egress. But it was really, really packed. I agree. I think that's one of the highlights for me, too.
Yeah, it
I
was
agree.
a great evening.
Yeah.
It's just mind-boggling. That wouldn't happen at any of the bigger venues or anything, because Chucho was sitting like in the second row or whatever.
He was in the first row.
first row and just walked up.
And we didn't even know he was coming. It
No.
was, if you're a jazz lover, then you should know who Chucho Valdez is, and Paquito de Rivera, Latin jazz lover. But we didn't even know Chucho was coming, but he was Paquito's mentor.
Yeah.
So he showed up to support him, and then Paquito got him on the stage. It was really cool.
And what made it even more meaningful is I just came back from Cuba.
Oh, how
Wow.
cool. Yeah.
So it was really
Rung true for you, for sure.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And I remember sitting next to a few board members, and I said, "You're watching something very, very special.
Yep.
Take the whole evening
I said
in."
the same thing to my son when I got home. I said, that's not something you get to see in your lifetime very many times. So I agree. It was awesome.
Wow.
What about you? Can you identify a favorite moment?
It's really hard, but I will say, again, I just really enjoyed ABBA Mania. I thought that was great. But all of the shows I've ever seen have been super engaging, super fun. It's just a great vibe. But just seeing people get up and dance of all ages, of all walks of life, and enjoy the music has really been super special for me. Starting with, let's see, Little Red Corvette.
Yes.
And then most recently with ABBA Mania. So I hate to focus mostly on those, but
They're the ones where we added that dance floor.
Yeah, and it's just brought a whole new vibe to the whole
Agreed.
experience.
I wish we had a little bigger space so that we could, if you're running a business, you know that your product, what you sell, is how you keep your revenues flowing. So we have to expand the amount of seats, which is our product, to these shows to max capacity so that we can earn enough revenue to be less reliant on public money in particular. But when you have a sponsor, you have a flexibility that I don't have the rest of the time. And it is very cool. For me, I think, especially for the sponsored shows, because I get great joy from watching each of you get happy with what you created. It gives me great joy, like fills my eyes up with tears a little bit, because I feel like I did something for you to thank you and to make you feel good about having been so generous with us. But I also, Paquito's show or Pizzarelli's, I couldn't come. I had a personal situation in North Carolina. I was not here. But Paquito's show or many of the other jazz programs or the ones that we had this year, Red Corvette and ABBA Mania, I had tears in my eyes the whole time because you're watching, especially Abomania. I'm not sure why it stood out like it did. I think they were just spectacular at engaging the audience. They were
Yes.
very professional, you know? But watching how much fun people had goes back to what you were saying before about the joy you give people when you're doing something like this. I mean, that's just the coolest thing since sliced bread. Makes you feel like you did something good in the world, you know?
Absolutely. It comes back tenfold. It
I
really
think
does.
so.
It really does.
I had another big sponsor on, and they have a large foundation and have helped us a lot with a lot of things. And their daughter, who now runs the foundation, was talking and said that she was really happy the day that her parents recognized, why are you waiting? Give now. Because they get to enjoy the results of the giving instead of waiting until after they're gone to give. And that moved me, you know, because I think a lot of people commit to that. They say, okay, we're not just feeding ourselves, we're feeding the world we live in.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's pretty fantastic. If you were to talk to a potential sponsor, maybe they like theater more, or maybe they don't like jazz at all, or tributes. Maybe they like the blues, or maybe they like, I don't know, whatever, comedians. If you were talking to somebody who was like, I was thinking about that, what would you tell them to encourage them to call me, to call Marjorie Waldo, 561? No, I'm just kidding.
All of those options are capable of happening at the Arts Garage. First of all, you cover all genres of music and arts. And it's just like giving a birthday gift. When you find that perfect gift for somebody and you give it to them and they open it and seeing their smile and their happiness and receiving the gift, it feels better giving it than it does receiving it.
Understood.
There's just more gratitude. I'm gracious that I'm blessed that I can be part of something like this and give and sponsor. And like I said, I think it comes back tenfold when you see what the gift you give does to the people around you experiencing that event. It's really special.
It's really cool. It's a really cool thing. And when you're a sponsor, you get a table at your show, right? So you bring all your friends, and it's a really exciting thing for me to see too, is to see you share that with your microcosm of people while also sharing it with the greater macrocosm of the community. You know, it's a pretty beautiful thing. It's
It really
beautiful.
is. It is.
Dick?
And I'm going to jump in and say also, the both of you brought up while you're alive to give, so you can see the people enjoying it. You know, I think that's really important. You know, I've known John Pizzarelli since he was a kid. And so it was really nice to see that that I could sponsor a show all these years later of having John perform. And my daughter came. She was on the waterfront counselor with him years ago in New Jersey. And it was just really nice to be able to see that.
Isn't that cool to see? You know, it's really a small world.
Yes.
Truly it is.
Yes.
You don't think so, you know, but it is a small world. So the thought that you could have been in Jersey, your kid and John knew each other, you knew him when he was young, and then you're able to sponsor his show at Arts Garage. That's
And she
pretty
came to it.
cool. And your
Yes.
daughter was able to be there. Yeah. That was really cool.
That was a special evening.
Very cool.
It's full circle right there.
It is full circle. It is absolutely full circle. So I hope people listening will consider, and the sponsorships you guys do are at a very high level. They don't all have to be that high of a level, right? Every time you sponsor a show, which I don't think people understand, any dollar that comes in, it's not the same thing as a fundraiser, but every dollar that comes in for tickets is profit. We're not for profit. So this, I don't like using that word because people misconstrue it, but it supports us in the slow times, like as we move into the summer season, or it helps us pay for a different name another time, because all that money feeds in and the expenses that normally come out to afford the show don't. It's a really magical thing to do for a performing arts organization to allow that. I'm super grateful to you both.
I'm grateful for you as well.
I've known you both a long time. It's a long time now. I don't remember. We've known each other the whole time I've been in Arts Garage.
Right.
You had just come on the board that same year. I came in 2016. I got to know you not long after that.
I would say within the year or
I think so too.
The end of it. Yeah.
There is this thing that I believe in terms of, you might say I don't have any boundaries, right? Because I bring a feeling accidentally, it's just who I am, that we're family. And that's how it feels with both of you. And
feel
what
the same
you've
way.
allowed me to do on your behalf has been an absolute blast. So thank you both so much.
Well, it brings me
Well,
extreme
thank you
joy to
for-
be a part of it and to work with you on all of this and to see what's happening in our community as a result of all the good shows that Arts Garage brings to the community.
Thank you for saying
Yes.
so. Dick, any final comments?
No, it's great working with you and in a way teaching you a little bit about jazz, you know, mentioning artists and stuff, and then you were willing to say, all right, let me go listen to that, and calling and saying, you know, I listened to that. I'm not that familiar with them, but boy, they're good, and that would be a good choice, you know, to have them. So that whole, it is a whole family. I mean, I feel that too.
Feels that way, right?
Yeah, it's,
Yeah.
you know, and you'll pick up the phone and yell at me.
I do.
And
I sometimes have to. Not really. Not really. But there are, I think that family figures out how to be together
Yes.
when they love each other. And I love you both very much.
I love you too.
And I'm really grateful that you came to the show. We've hit the magic hour when we should wind it up. Are there any final big statements you want to say?
well, I would hope that everybody listening to us would think about doing some sponsorships. There's all different levels of sponsorships for different types of groups. And you'll have a very, very warm feeling knowing that you've helped to contribute to the arts in Delray, in particular, in Palm Beach County. It's a great feeling knowing that you can contribute.
We are finding more and more that we have zip codes in our database from all over the country, especially the Northeast, but all over the country. It's very exciting. And we have artists now who are internationally touring. The band Abamania, there were a complete group of Canadian performers.
Yes.
So it's really cool to see how global our little stage in Delray has become.
Yes.
Very cool. And that's
Super fun.
in large part because of the contributions of philanthropists like both of you. So thank you both very much. And thank you for being on Culture Under Fire with me. Super
Thank
grateful.
you so much. And join us
Thank you.
and join our family and become a sponsor.
I'll give you
It's
their
super
phone
fun.
numbers.
Yes.
If you want to talk to them about how it feels,
And come to the Arts Garage.
come to the Arts Garage and check it
Please.
out. Okay, thank you both so much. So for those of you listening, if you will take a second to write a quick review, that would be awesome. Like the episode, subscribe to the podcast. If you have an idea for a topic or a guest, you can email us at info@artsgarage.org and put Culture Under Fire guest idea or something like that in the subject line. We'd love to hear from you. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you soon. Hi, everyone. I hope you enjoyed this episode with April Marshall and Dick Lowenthal, two of our most incredible sponsors. Because of their generosity, I am really hoping you'll consider making a donation of any size. Every contribution is going to be matched dollar for dollar by April and Dick, and it really maximizes your donation. If you would like to donate, I remind you it's www.artsgarage.org/match for impact. Thank you so much for listening.